Welcome to the Plant Grow Reap podcast.
Welcome everyone to today's episode of Plant Grow Reap. Today I'm joined with myself, Daniel Pachoka. I'm joined with Julie Pigeon and Nadia Fazli. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to be discussing leadership and team bonding today. So I'm looking forward to today's discussion and what we'll get out of it and what, I guess, comes to mind in regard to a lot of these things. So I guess if we're talking about what comes to mind and leading into our first question, what comes to mind for the both of you when you hear the word leadership?
Leadership, I think you need to be inspirational and motivate the team. And I think there's a clear difference between leadership and management. And I find people focus on the management first before they get to the leadership stage. And management to me is more delegating effectively, being organised and organising your team, workflow and that kind of thing, where leadership takes us to the next level of, being motivating. And, I always think leadership is standing in a big, public...
In a big room.
In a big room.
Standing
in front of everyone and everyone's, having an engaging talk to the team and them being motivated by what you say rather than falling asleep at the chair. So that's probably my perspective of leadership.
Julie, what comes to mind?
I would absolutely agree. I think a lot of people get confused between being a manager and a leader, and they're very, very different things. Agree with everything Nadia said. But I also don't think you need to be a manager to be a leader. Anyone within the organisation can be a leader in their own way, which is what we encourage of everyone in our team.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree as well. What you mentioned, Julie, in terms of not having to be a manager or that kind of position in anything in life to be a leader. I often think about sports when I think about leadership and how it always kind of stems from the top or the spine of a team or a squad, etc., in any kind of industry or any aspect of life, and how that spine, how the key people, the key leaders, essentially need to find a synonym for lead, but they lead the firm, right, or lead the company, lead the squad, and really determine how everything plays out. Such as culture, such as compliance, and all these kind of things. So. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I guess it's interesting, leadership and how we all view it. And we're not going to go into the types of leadership, the leadership styles today, because they can be pretty complex, a lot of big words in there. Nadia and I focus on
What do you think, Daniel,
numbers,
are the key qualities of a good leader?
Key qualities. Well, again, I think it comes down to what you believe in as being in terms of leadership. But for me, I think firstly is taking ownership of things. Not deflecting, not blaming others, and that can lead into setting the good example and letting your actions do the talking, not just talk a lot of crap and say you'll do this or say you'll do that, and delegate and try and palm off everything. It's really taking ownership, I think, of a lot of things, and setting the example, because I think again a major part of leading is how others react to you and what you do, and whether they follow you. And if people follow you and do what you do, that I think that's a really good sign of your leadership and how you're impacting others, and the quality of you as a leader. So I think that's I went on a bit of a ramble there, but that's what I guess see in terms of or think about when I hear leadership and what the main qualities or one of the main qualities should be.
Yeah. For me personally, as I was growing in my career, especially as a grad accountant, we just focused on finishing our CA, trying to be the best accountant we could be. I worked in a 12-partner practice, and I used to watch and listen to how they spoke, how they all their different styles, and the way the managing director would stand up in a room and deliver feedback to the team. And I used to then pick and choose what I liked from each partner and really learn from them and their styles. And I think it kind of molded who I am today, because, I like a bit of this, but I don't like that aspect of them, and I like a bit of this, and being flexible. So,
Everyone has their own kind of, or eventually customizes their own kind of leadership I guess. And yeah, so Julie, what about yourself? What do you think what do you see as the most important factors of being a good leader?
I think the accountability and ownership is a really important one. I also think emotional intelligence, not just having good communication skills, but able to read the room and just, check in with the temperature of how things are and acting on that. Also being curious and asking questions. And it's definitely not a do what I say type role. It's very much a serving role in a lot of ways, is understanding what the team needs and also being vulnerable and honest. A lot of good leaders, explain why they do things and the importance of that, which I think is really good, thinking back over some of the leaders that I've had. But, and they just take their time, I think, is another one, just being available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then also understanding the personality styles of your team and the people that you're talking to and adapting the way you communicate with them as well based on their personality style. I mean, people have different ways of wanting to receive praise and feedback. As an example, there was someone that got promoted yesterday and how he felt about whether he wanted to be publicly promoted or praised, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, everyone's got their own styles and, it's kind of like the love languages as well. It's like everyone's got their
true. And like you can, I feel like there's two ways you can go about it. You can do what you said, Julie. You can try and read the room, gauge the temperature and try and figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
Or you could just directly go to the person and just ask them, which is obviously easier said than done. But I guess it's interesting how you kind of learn and adapt and figure out how people work and in life as well, like with relationships and anything really. So that's definitely an interesting point. Do you guys have any recent examples of where you've had to change your leadership style, or there's been one person that takes it really differently, takes something really differently, and then the other you'll have to approach them in a way different manner? Anything come to mind in terms of recent examples?
I think generally it's good to be aware of the different stages that teams go through. So from getting new people onto your team, you go through the norming, forming, storming, performing stages. So it's really important to be mindful of where people are at and how new your team is and getting to know them. So you have to have different leadership styles for different stages of where your team are at. And you're very different for a brand new team to one that's a high-performing, consistent team. So it's really important to be mindful about that.
Yeah. There's also the micromanaging and, some people like direct
confrontation.
Well, not really direct confrontation. I'm thinking of they just want to be told what to do. Like They just want the clear instructions on what to do. And then there's other people that just want to know the outcome and then they'll figure out how to get there. So adapting your styles with how you communicate as well with the different positions. Like a graduate will probably just want to know what they need to do next and what am I doing after that and what am I doing after that. Someone else will just want to know their client base and,
True.
take control.
Yeah, which I feel like is almost... I feel like you're referring again to like the manager side of things, managing. But I guess it shows the challenge of trying to combine leadership and managing, or in if you're in those kind of roles in whatever you do, and how that can be difficult, and you're trying to focus on all these different things at once, which I guess just also shows that it sometimes comes with experience that you get better and better, and you lock this thing in. Okay, I'm good at this. This works well with these people, and you slowly just improve, right? And I think you can always obviously improve on the side as well and speed up the process. For example, get coaching, right, on leadership and that kind of thing. I think, Nadia, you mentioned to me before you've had that kind of coach. I'm not exactly sure what kind of coach she was, the lady you used. But did you learn much from her in terms of leadership and delegating or being, progressing in your career?
I learned heaps. I learned so much during that hour coaching session with her. I did 12 sessions. That after that, I just needed to relax my brain because there's just so much going on.
Was there anything in terms of leadership that you recall or comes to mind first, or just your transition from your two roles at Aintree Group Where in a role now you're pretty, you're one of the biggest leaders in the firm, which I think you do a great job of. But yeah, is there anything in particular you recall in that regard, or is it just kind of a mix of many different things?
It's a mix of many different things, but also to one of the things, giving feedback, for example, and how to approach those situations. And also, as I do work at a very fast pace, how to slow down. And she taught me how to slow down, although sometimes I do go straight back into the fast pace again. And because, for example, giving people time of day, sometimes my mind won't be in the conversation with people and I'll be thinking about another client matter, or I'll be in a client meeting and think about another client matter. So really trying to be focused and, being a good leader, I think, is being present and in a room, or else, I don't think it would work. No one will really respect you, I think, if you're not present and not giving people time of day. So also that, a lot of different things.
Yeah.
There are a lot of different things to consider in terms of like even the different ages in the workplace, and they respond very differently to management styles, as well as learning styles. So some people are visual, some people like it. Lists and procedures and things. So that is as well. Plus the challenge also of getting that balance right of being friendly without, but still having to be, have those tough conversations as well. So I think that's something to consider. But yeah, there's a lot to think about, and being a leader isn't an easy thing. And
you're continuously learning. Like you're just always learning. Like you can never just master it because there's always something else to learn and embrace as well.
Yeah.
I feel like every day at Aintree Group I'm learning something new. Yeah. Or also reflecting. So when a situation happens, and I'm even thinking about this podcast and how I could answer another question better. So always reflecting after a meeting, think about how you went with that, know what you can do next time or how you can word things a little bit differently. And also listening to other people's feedback, which is something I'm going to do tomorrow, actually. I'm running a probationary meeting and I'm bringing our P&C advisor. And I said to her, if there's any feedback on the way I deliver feedback, because I think that's how you're going to grow and be the best leader you can be. Yeah, really.
Yeah, for sure. It probably goes back to your initial question, Julie, of, the main qualities in a good leader. And probably being self-aware and always wanting to be progressive and improving your style, your own customized style is probably a big thing. But then again, like I sometimes think I can't really picture a specific person, but there's leaders out there that have a really specific style. It doesn't work for everyone, but it works for some people, right? And I guess, in different industries or aspects of life, maybe that would work, where you're dealing with maybe a specific type of person in a small group, and that kind of leader works. So I guess, it can always be different, right? But probably in a scenario like ours, where we work for an integrated services firm with all different kinds of people and roles, you probably have to focus on adapting and always improving and being self-aware and receiving feedback and that kind of thing.
Sometimes you can be self-aware, but you're actually not, you don't know how other people perceive you and their perspective. And everyone has their own lenses and their own view on how you are. And it's not something that we should worry about though, because, you do the best that you can, but it's something to be mindful of.
Oh, for sure. And again, a hard thing to do is to maybe go up to one of your friends at the firm or the place you work at and even ask them that and say, how do you think people view me? What can I do better? Like you're going to do tomorrow in terms of the meeting and that kind of thing. So, I definitely
when
agree.
I talk about being in a big room and with a room full of people and being able to influence and being engaging, and one of our managing directors at one of my previous practices made a comment, and what he meant was, the comment was, everyone's replaceable. But what he meant was, focus on your career, and if you need to leave and move on, it's fine because, we can replace you. But the way people perceived that was, so I'm not valued in the firm. And he would not have any idea that that's how that was portrayed.
Mm-hmm. And he probably clearly meant it, or it seems like he meant it in the way that he cares about the people that work for him and that he wants them to progress their career. Yeah. So I guess it's maybe a lesson in for certain or all of us to not always assume, right? And assume how people are meaning things or what they're trying to achieve, which is always hard because you can take words the wrong way and that kind of thing. But
it is. Yeah.
Julie, so in the compliance side of things, the compliance world and making sure we stick to all our procedures, the lovely job you have, how important do you think leadership is in that regard and the leaders in the firm, Aintree Group, helping you drive that?
Yeah, that's absolutely key. Everybody needs to be on board with that. It can't be one person saying this is how it's going to be.
Conversation today.
We did. And I think it's really important that everybody is part of building that compliance culture. And we had a chat around seeing compliance as a negative thing or a not reporting a non-compliance. And the conversation we had around that was, again, I guess that's part of being a good leader is explaining the why we do things and trying to anticipate how that's going to be perceived and to explain that we're doing it to identify and help them with any holes in procedures or if there's information missing or things like that. So it's very much to keep them safe and protected by having the procedures in place. And I guess it's just communicating that. And there's always challenges, though, that we feel that we do that, but there's still people that won't say anything or won't ask questions or come to us. And I think that's a challenge of being a leader is, mastering the different communication styles and reaching everyone. It's really hard to do. So it definitely is a team effort.
Definitely.
And you can plan and try to understand the perspective, or if you initiate this, how could you be perceived? But you really can't predict as well the way we communicate how someone's going to perceive that. So the best way is to listen to feedback as much as possible and really listen and empower the team to speak up, or else you'll never know how people think and how they do things and how we can be better as well.
I think that's where one of our values, courage, is having those courageous conversations and letting people know that it's okay to do that. And our other house rule to cut triangles, so you go direct to the person that you have an issue with, and because that goes such a long way in building relationships and trust and just clearing the air. And so we're really trying to get our team to embrace that. And it's hard, though. I appreciate that. But
for sure.
The benefits are huge.
And one of the things that helps drive that the most is, again, we're kind of going in circles here, but not triangles, circles this time, is the leaders actioning those things and having, those difficult conversations where others might see and be like, oh, okay, if, for example, Nadia or Julie, they've gone and had a chat with that person. It's worked out really well, really positive outcome. Everyone else will see that and be like, oh, okay, I'm going to do that next time. And I guess, it just goes back to leading by example and the impact that has and how important leadership can be in that regard and just driving the values and the culture of the firm. And almost I always refer back to it. I love it. The sports analogy, is that the right word? I use numbers more. Okay, yeah, thanks.
Yep.
And how the spine of the team is how everyone else around it operates and follows. So
I also think in that analogy as well, being the coach is, as a leader, you have to be visible and you have to be walking around the office and approachable. And for us, it's we use Teams as our main communication channel. They've got to be visible on Teams. The team need to see them participating in conversations and praising people. And that's a really good thing that we could be doing more of, I think, to just be really visible and present and be cheering on the team. It doesn't work if you never hear from them or see them.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially physically as well. It's actually been great that we haven't been working from home over the last few months. And now this morning I was working from home, like I should really be in the office right now and I should really be, I feel like that physical presence, even though we got used to it during the COVID lockdown and we thought, this could work. We could all just work from home and, but I think it's very difficult to lead from a distance, having that physical presence and having that bond, I think, is really important.
Face to face.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And like whether it obviously works for certain industries and areas where they don't necessarily need maybe as much leadership. But yeah, for us, no, I would definitely agree that I think we work well when everyone's visible or as visible as possible and is always there or on time to things and sticks to meeting times and that kind of thing. So you develop the respect and people see your value and et cetera, et cetera. So
which that's a good example. If you're always late to meetings, and your team's also going to start being late to meetings as well.
Because they think it's okay.
They think it's okay. Yeah.
It's very true.
Daniel, as a new manager, what type of leader would you like to be and how do you think you can get there?
Oh, very good question,
It's a good question,
Julie.
putting me on the spot.
Yeah.
Well, I'd probably start with just, leading by example and my actions. I'd say it's pretty important. I guess the transition from, an assistant manager to a manager. I think I'd like to definitely go back to what Nadia said, get better at feedback and trying to really identify that balance or that perfect style in giving feedback and the right balance of, you be nice and you compliment what they're doing well, but then also I need a better word for strict, but be strict with what they've maybe done wrong or what they can improve on.
Hold them accountable.
Yeah, hold them accountable in the right way.
Yeah.
But again, I think it maybe that maybe is the second step, and the first step is leading by example to where people respect you and value what you do and say, so that when you do try and hold them accountable, they listen and they'll actually follow it. And
so, what kind of example do you want to set? Good question. Yeah,
it's a good question in terms
putting
of
you on the spot.
in terms of leadership as a manager, or what kind of example?
Yeah, what kind of presence do you want to?
Damn, that's a good question. I feel like I'd almost want to take a bit from all of the other leaders in the firm in a way, and combine that into my own style, like everyone does, I guess. That's a good question. It's put me on the spot a little bit.
I'll let you think about it.
Can you repeat the question?
I'll answer the question.
Yeah, for me, or
actually, what was my original question? The
what kind of example?
Yeah, I am a hard worker, and I like to have fun at the same time and find a good balance in between. I like a bit of banter in the office and to be okay, but also that we're working, quality, and having that. I kind of say it like tough but fair. Like I want to be direct with feedback and be quick with it, and for people to not take it personally but take it as a learning opportunity, and making sure that I deliver it in a way that it is that. It's not seen as strict, because I'm very much, when there's a problem, like it'll be okay. Every problem can get solved. But then my issue is I don't hold people accountable to their actions, and sometimes people don't learn from their mistakes.
And it comes back to bite you.
So that comes back to bite you.
You personally, and it's not so much more them anymore. It's more
So it's about how you communicate.
Me. Yeah. That's a good question. Going back to the question,
I would also say I don't want to be I don't want to be a micromanager at all. I want people to feel empowered to do the things that need to be done, and then I'm there as support when they need me. I want people to be able to know that they can talk to me and come to me, and that I can mentor them to grow in their positions, because that's my favorite part of the whole thing, is watching other people grow. So when I find people are not growing, or they don't really, don't have that learning mindset, I struggle, I think, with those kinds of people, which is okay. If people just want to do tax returns and not grow and do the same thing every day, it's completely fine. I just find a lot more enjoyment in watching other people grow.
And letting them fulfill
Same with you, watching you grow. Yeah.
Both of you have had coaches. Do you recommend that to our listeners? Or
yes, definitely.
What the biggest benefits you've got out of getting some coaching?
My benefit, I'll start, was when Shane said to me that we're looking at promoting you as director. I was like, whoa, I don't think I'm ready for that. And it was meant to be a year and 3 months from that date. And I'm like, okay, I've got to get myself ready. And I'm not ready for this. I can't do it. He ended up promoting me within 3 months. It wasn't actually a year and 3 months. I was like, oh, when did this happen? But within 3 months of having that coaching, I felt empowered, confident. I got this. Every day is actually, this is one of the biggest things I learned. You got to walk before you run. So doing this podcast, for example, this is the second time through. I'm feeling more comfortable, not putting that much pressure on yourself that you're going to go into the meeting for the first time and nail it. Like you're learning, everything's a learning. I see them as blocks and then slowly build on those blocks. And that's something I learned, and being present and really listening.
What about you, Daniel?
Yeah, no, definitely. I'd say to everyone who has the opportunity of going with any kind of coach, just take it up. Obviously, sometimes you have to pay a lot of money, but yeah, if the opportunity's there, for sure. But no, I think, I learned a lot. And Julie, you were my coach recently for a lot of things, and in particular values. And I think it's
values.
Coaches really help you.
Yep.
Like they help you identify things about yourself, obviously, and it's almost like you're talking to yourself at times, or they help you talk to yourself and really, learn about yourself and what drives you and what's important to you, et cetera. And just putting, yes, like you said, Nadia, you have to walk before you can run. You can make mistakes along the way, but just be aware of them and think about learn from them, see where you can improve or what went wrong, and refer that back to what you learned about yourself. For example, your values and how it all aligns. Like, was this thing out of whack? Is that why you had a bad week, or stuff something up? And go back and think about it, and just being consistent and always. So you can put, I think you got to, and this is something I struggle with and always try to remember, but putting 110% or 100% into everything you do, even if you might, expect a failure or something like that. I think that aligns really well with being consistent, putting 100% in, being consistent. The more you do that, the more you'll get better at anything, I believe, in life. And I think that's what coaches can help you do and stay on track with, and kind of obviously guide you and coach you.
Yeah.
I'd probably went around in circles there, but I think there's a lot of different things that coaches help you with, in particular, just learning about yourself.
In your personal life as well.
Oh, for sure.
And I was going through a stage where I wasn't sleeping very well, and she helped me overcome that quite quickly. And then next time I spoke to her, I'm like, I had the best sleep. So even dealing with that in your personal life and finding that balance and
So both of you have been leaders in our Culture Champions team.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what that involved and what you like about that.
Cultures, when I first was told that I was going to be the leader of the Culture Champions, I thought it was going to be more about how do we focus on our values in our firm, or praising and things like that. I didn't realize it was going to be team events. And that's one thing that for some reason I'm not very comfortable with. I like attending events, but actually running events for the first time.
Not an event organizer.
No, definitely not. That's why I eloped.
That's true.
So that was a good challenge for me, and I actually quite enjoyed it when I started doing it. Really just creating that bond between the team. Like we want that happy, healthy culture and
welcoming.
Yes.
I think it's pretty important to me, the culture and being a part, part of the driving force of that. Obviously, because I've been at Aintree Group for a while, I've seen the culture change drastically to where, back when I first started and a few others, Joseph, Chelsea, there was maybe 15 of us, 20 of us, and just by nature of the size and the age differences, et cetera, and maybe being accountants, like there wasn't heaps of there wasn't heaps of culture, right? And there wasn't any after work drinks or, activities and that kind of thing. There was the usual, in the financial parties, lunches here and there. But I think, that's why I've enjoyed helping the culture and being a part of it because I've seen it grow so much and develop and change. And obviously Andrew and Shane have been a big part of that, and the other leaders within the firm, and we've slowly, I think, improved it the right way. We haven't tried to rush into things, or 4 years ago we haven't tried to do drinks every week and let's make everyone come. It's been a kind of a slow rise, and I think it's been done correctly to where now we have a really welcoming culture. I think is actually a really accurate word, to where a lot of people, from my experience, who join or who are new, they feel really welcome and a part of the team.
Yeah. My biggest challenge, I think, with the culture with organising events is everyone's got their own perspective on what kind of events they want to attend and what kind of events important for them. Me personally, I'm just happy to just hang out with you guys and just go out for dinner. Like, that's just simple. It doesn't need to be board games or us doing trivia nights. For me, it's the bonding and actually, connecting with the team, because during work hours, I'm so focused on the job that I don't get that time to be able to get to know everyone. And if it is, it's for a 10-minute window or, a short period of time. And, I'm not in a relaxed state thinking time's ticking and we got what to do. So that's my idea, where other people prefer activities and,
different kinds of things.
Different kinds of things. So that, I think
niche.
we give that variety. And I think that's what's really important, having a variety of different kinds of activities or different kinds of ways to bond with the team, I think is really important.
I think we have a much more focused approach now that we've really solidified our values, and the activities are thoughtfully linked to those and communicated that way. And also speaking to what we were saying before about understanding different types of people and what they like, and having a variety from sport to book club to trivia nights to all sorts of things that aren't mandatory. People just come along if they want to, and they're usually well attended because they do give that opportunity to really connect with the team members. And things like Culture Week, where we come together as a team and do team building activities. Everything sort of, there's thought and a strategy behind it, I guess, of really building our team and creating the culture, consciously creating that culture.
Yeah, and I think, a lot of things like that, for example, our Culture Week and external events that we do, I think it just transitions colleagues or team members or teammates into friends, really. And I think that's what I've seen over the last few years, maybe 3 to 5 years, where, like, if I'm talking to one of my friends who I don't talk about work with too often, and I find myself I start rambling about all my colleagues and how much I like them, and like we're friends, and we actually talk outside of work and that kind of thing, and it just makes me reflect and think about like how this has happened or why this has occurred. And I think I think because we have a variety, it's never going to be perfect. We can't have, if one person wants to do horse riding or something, we can't do that because it's just not feasible. It's not reasonable. Look, we may be good. I don't know if it's exactly safe.
Maybe some,
safety
considerations
might be included. Sorry, all brought up there, but
it's all right.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of different events, having a lot of different things, small things, medium-sized, larger things, to where there's always something going on. And if one person attends 2 of those events out of the year, it's a positive, right? And if one person attends 10 of them, then it's a positive. And I think I think we have a really good mix at the moment and a good balance to where I think people don't feel too guilty if they don't go to things, but also they have the option to go to all these things. And like there's like even just the morning teas. I had a podcast earlier where we were talking with 2 newer members, and they were just, one of the things they instantly thought about when I asked them about the culture was the morning teas and how we go above and beyond. And, it's more than just a couple of biscuits and cheese and crackers or whatever. And just things like that people appreciate and will remember, I guess, and they'll tell external people and say, oh,
That's
look,
right.
like we do this, we do that. Even Instagram, the amount of, I often try and share things here and there in terms of our events. So even some of my friends, I've probably wrote them into following the Instagram, Aintree Group Instagram, and they're always like, oh my God, there's so many events you guys do. Like,
the main comment is, do you guys do any work?
Yes. And I'm like, look, we actually do work pretty hard most of the time.
To your point, we work hard and we play hard.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But I think the culture champion role is such a great example of leaders that are not managers. They are leading the way in terms of, it's that opportunity to volunteer and give back, and another of our values being community. You've really created a community within our team by, the leadership that you display with all the special things that you do to create the culture. So I think that's something to be really proud of.
And I guess it just goes to show that we're fortunate enough to be able to lead in different areas, like, for example, one being community and the culture of the team, but then the other being, leading in the accounting team and lodgements and making sure that goes to plan and goes successfully, or, the other areas, legal, finance and wealth, etc. So I think very fortunate that there's so many different angles of leadership and culture that we have and that Andrew and Shane have built. That we're lucky to be a part of. I wanted to ask you guys though, what's one of your favorite, like if I was to ask you your favorite activity or event, what comes to mind?
Culture Week.
Yeah, right.
So for those listening, for the past 2 years, we've had a week where we focus on culture. The first one was getting together the whole team and coming up with our values. And the next year we did activities with charities. We had
That was such a fun week.
Multicultural lunch. We have a very diverse team, so everyone brought in and we shared facts about the different cultures that we come from. We had team building activities where we built cots and gave those to charity. That was a very special one. Yeah. Treasure hunts, pitches where we got to pitch ideas and things like that. So, and we've got another really exciting one coming up this year where we're going to build on that again. So without a doubt, I can't tell you.
No?
It's top secret at this stage.
We'll keep it between us.
I can guarantee everyone's going to love it.
Yeah.
But without a doubt, it's awesome to see the whole team come together. And we had people that had just started within their first week that were just jumping in to especially the team build activity, which was crazy. But it was really great to see everyone really living the values and embracing, our sense of community for both internally and for local community groups. So, yeah.
I think I said mine earlier, like eating food and mingling. I enjoy just bonding and just having that banter and creating that, getting to know each other and that. The puzzle night we had games night.
That was board game night.
Yeah, that was good in the office, and we've got pizzas afterwards, and then we just chilled around the table. That was really nice.
I've heard you guys are pretty good at trivia too.
Oh, yes. Yes, she's
very competitive.
No comment.
Some of us are.
Reigning winners.
Yeah, actually we did. Yeah, we do pub trivia every so often. That's another one.
Yeah.
We really do a lot. And I think, it's a testament to everyone involved and everyone that helps organise, has the ideas, and also the people that participate. And, obviously the leaders of the firm, I think, I noticed that as well and noticed the people that really care and want to help improve everyone around them and be a part of it. So
what's your favourite activity? I bet you're not going to say barbecues.
Yeah, let's not talk about barbecues.
I do love barbecues and party pies, just so you know.
Just not when I set off the alarm. And
no, I like that too. That's entertaining.
Twice. No, that's a good question. Yeah, I think it happened the first time. But
oh, crap.
There's so many from puppies coming into the office.
Oh, yes, actually, puppies win, and I missed out on that. I still have massive FOMO.
To going to volunteer for Big Group Hug or there's so many different ones.
Yeah, it's tough to think about, to be honest. But, yeah, I think similar to Nadia, like I enjoy the mingling, and obviously a few drinks being involved always helps and helps you, people's filters drop and you can kind of just have a bit more banter and get to know each other better and maybe, have some memorable experience or not so memorable experiences if you have too much to drink, right? But, or team bonding activities. The Culture Week was really good. I think, because it was just the whole week of fun activities, right? And often we're trying to work pretty hard throughout the weeks and there's not much, we might go a whole day with just our heads down in the computers doing meetings and working. Well, not often. Most of the days are like that, right? So it's good to always change it up and, have a week of community-involved things or team building activities where we're building their cots, having dogs come in, making sandwiches for, I think, lesser privileged schools or children at schools, all those kinds of things. But, I struggle to think back on all the activities because there's so many. Even tennis, we've had the Aintree Group tennis. We've done that twice
fun.
Now.
That was really good.
That's quite fun, actually, yeah.
And it's a good,
It's easy.
It's not that you need to invest a lot of money into having a good activity or a good thing. So
you don't need to spend money to I guess have team bonding activities and events, right? You can, but then again, that probably the better ones are the ones that don't involve much money, right? Like the board games night, we were just all chilling. Like there was, Ashley was teaching everyone his special game, and everyone was so into it. Then there were people playing chess, like. having a glass of wine, a bit of pizza. And so I guess, sometimes the simple things, right?
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And it goes to show that you don't need to maybe spend all this money on, extreme things or material things. But
exactly.
Even like our Christmas party last year where, for the end of financial year and last year we had a big one. We had a really fancy cocktail event with really nice dinners, nice drinks, etc. And then for the Christmas party, it was quite the opposite, where we just went and chilled in a park, played some games and played some sport, which I think from my experience was fun and a lot different. And everyone just kind of bonded in a different way.
Yeah.
Where we just, it was like you were going to the park with your mates and playing a bit of footy or playing a bit of basketball like we all did. You all sweat a little bit, but then you finish it off with a cold beer and you can't complain really. So no, it's great. It's great. So I guess, going back to the people that contribute and participate, what do you think is the best way for someone to contribute to like a team activity or the culture of a firm? Is it just by rocking up or showing up, or are there other things they could be doing, like, getting others involved and encouraging and that kind of thing? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think just being open and giving it a go, as you said, just participating and, just being aware on how them being involved impacts other people, as you said, and they then feel more likely to get involved and not being afraid to be a bit silly. Just get involved.
Get out of your comfort zone a little bit. More often than not, it's rewarding, right?
Absolutely.
Even though for me, I don't know what it would feel like to go into a new firm with a lot of new people, but I imagine it'd be pretty daunting at times. So I think, by someone contributing, even just showing up can be pretty cool sometimes, and just, because that could be the hardest thing for them. Right, if they're maybe socially anxious or they're very new and they're unsure of what to do. I think that's a big achievement for a lot of people. Just rocking up.
And also feeling comfortable to have lunch in the kitchen. I used to avoid the kitchen as much as possible, or have lunch outside of the the normal hours, just so I could sit by myself. And I was a bit socially awkward. But then I tried to convince myself to get out of that comfort zone. And and it's amazing just in the kitchen. You don't know who's going to be in there. You don't know what conversations you're going to have. You just sit down with your food and you bond, and you bond with many different people. It's good to go at different times, so you're having lunch with different people as well. So
it's like a game. It's like a lucky dip.
Yeah, it's like
who's going to come in today?
And I think that's part of being a leader, right? Is just doing the uncomfortable things sometimes and being the first one to do something and getting everybody else to join in as well. That's I think a leader gets involved.
It's a great point. Yeah, that's a great way to tie it back to the original topic. Yeah.
Yes.
And I definitely agree.
And in our new office, it's going to have a nice big lunchroom. So that's exciting. Although we're going to have a lot of space and a lot of different tables. So I wonder if we're going to make our lunch and then we decide where to sit. That's going to be interesting, because right now it's just got one table. So you really don't have a choice.
I feel like we're going to be in those cafeteria scenes.
Yeah, that's it,
Who do you go sit with today? But maybe you can have like a quiet corner where there's a sign that, people, or a quiet room.
We are going to have a quiet zone.
People can read there, and maybe you just have one
out.
big table so people have no other option. No, I actually can't probably do that, but that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting. I mean that it's like there's always so much laughter in the kitchen. Like when I'm not on lunch break and hear everyone talking, like I get a term you always use, Nadia. FOMO. You get FOMO. You're like, oh my God, I'm missing out. What's this conversation like?
Yes, that's how I feel when I work from home now. I'm like, I want to be in the office. Like
missing out on fun. Yeah.
And then I hear there's donuts in the kitchen, and then there's always something happening.
That's a key to great culture is feed them, right?
That's very important to me.
We get food provided in the kitchen to make lunch and have breakfast, and there's always food, people cooking and bringing things in, and donuts and I work remotely, so I have extreme FOMO of all the things I miss out on, but I think food brings people together and we're really good at.
Yeah, you almost need to tie it up with, I think SoFood looks after who stocks the kitchen as of late as part of her role. You always maybe need to link up an Amazon order or something so that when she opens that, it comes to you as well in Brisbane. And then you don't feel like you're missing out.
We'll get you up on the big screen on TV and then you can just eat your lunch with us.
It's definitely much better being in the office, to your point earlier.
I think it's example of a successful culture that people actually want to come to the office.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I hear that from people that they want to be in the office, they actually don't want to work from home, that's like, yep, we did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm eager to see whether the new office will bring any challenges, I guess, in relation to that. Because obviously, we're moving from a medium-sized office to a larger office now, and desks might look different and the kitchen's a lot further away. And look, I have no doubt that it'll translate, but it'll just be interesting to see if it changes.
I'm looking forward to having my step count up now.
Yes. Just having a little bit more space.
We're going to, don't you know, we're going to be getting those electric scooters.
Oh, really?
Electric skateboards now. Maybe we need those shoes that have the rollerblades underneath.
Oh, yeah, that
the
is
kids'
cool.
shoes.
Yeah, that converts into a normal shoe.
Just roll up to a client. Imagine you roll up to a client meeting. You open the door.
Actually, that's an excellent
That'd be
idea.
funny. Done. All right, I'll add it to the list.
Cool.
Add it to the list. But I think that's where we wrap things up, guys. Thank you very much. It was a very enjoyable chat.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks to all those that listened to another episode of Plant Grow Reap, and hope you have a great night. Thank you.